Hello and good afternoon, everyone. We're back again. I'm Priyanka Shrestha.
I'm Johnny Bairstow.
And welcome to another special edition of Short Fuse without Sumit. Sumit's not here again.
No, he's
Where is he?
part-timer these days.
Yeah, it seems he's very busy doing other stuff. So we're here again to entertain you and hopefully provide you with information you need about what's happening in the energy industry. As usual, share your comments on Twitter and Periscope. You can use the hashtag ShortFuse, and our Twitter handle is @EnergyLiveNews. You can tweet as well. We're also live on YouTube if the other mediums don't work. So moving on
please
to...
comment and get in touch with us.
Yes.
Last week we had limited shout-outs, so...
yeah, hopefully we'll have a few this time.
Yeah.
That's fingers crossed. So moving on to stories of the week. First up is the SSE price rise. So SSE has been, it's basically the last of the big six energy companies to announce an increase in gas and electricity prices. It said that it will increase it by 6.7%, and it will come into effect on the 11th of July this year. It's going to add about £76 to the average dual fuel energy bill. That'll take up the total to around £1,196.
Is it doing that for the same reasons as the other companies said?
Yes, so what they've said is, again, it made this difficult decision because of the rising wholesale energy costs, and also because they have to spend money on delivering the government's policy schemes. So that could include the smart meter rollout and also some other low carbon schemes. So it's not just the SSE customers affected. So M&S Energy customers will also be affected, and that's a total of around 2.36 million customers. But this doesn't apply to fixed term, those customers who are on fixed term tariffs and also on prepayment meters.
So those will keep going?
Yes, so their prices will remain the same.
I bet they're happy about that. We've got a story, the next story is from Northern Power Grid. So Northern Power Grid have basically come up with this new technology. So that's self-healing cables, they've called it.
That sounds very Harry Potter-ish.
Yes, a
like
magical
from the
new
movie.
technology. And so at the moment, Northern Power Grid operates, I think, 930 kilometres of fluid-filled cables across their network. And fluid-filled cables basically serve the purpose, the fluid in there, serves the purpose of insulating the cables, stopping the temperature from getting too high so they don't get damaged. But obviously, because it's fluid-filled, if those cables get damaged underground, they get little holes in, and this chemical, the fluid, leaks out into the ground and can cause pollution, can damage the environment. So this new technology, they've added two things. One's called tung oil and the others are called metal soaps. I'm not really familiar with either of those before this story. But by adding those to the mix of the fluid in the cables, it means that if they develop a hole, that it kind of automatically seals up and stops polluting the environment.
So does that mean that engineers won't actually have to go physically and dig it up to solve the issue?
Yeah, it means at the moment, engineers have to go out if they think there's a leak, dig it up, clean the soil in the area, close that bit of power cable off from the network for a certain amount of time. So obviously that takes a lot of money to do all of that. So Northern Power Grid actually says this technology, which they're planning to roll out this year, could save £20 million across the next 5 years. So quite a lot of money.
Okay, interesting. Next up, another interesting story about seals and climate change. I'm not sure we've run any seal story ever, not that I can remember anyway. So what they've done is scientists in the UK have recruited seals to measure the effects of climate change. So they equipped a squad of seals with sensors that measured the warmth and the saltiness in the Amundsen Sea. So what they did was just fitted these sensors to their head, left them to be. So what they were doing is basically diving in the sea and hunting for their food.
With their new hats?
With their new hats. You might be able to see the picture behind me. So data from these satellites was sent from the satellites using these sensors. And I think in total there were around 10,000 dives. From where they gathered all this information. And what they found was that the warm band of water is said to be accelerating the melting of the West Antarctic ice sheet. So they said that if this was to be lost entirely, it could increase sea levels by 3.2 meters. So I think it's a useful way of using using a technology.
The seals have got
such.
an interest in it because their home's going to disappear if they don't do a good job.
Yeah, and also that means for places where people can't physically go in, or it might be difficult to get data 24/7. I mean, you can use seals as a means to do that, and you can get information throughout the year.
And you can pay them with one fish a month rather than salaries of the scientists. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yep.
Next one.
So my next one goes from seals to Theresa May. But Theresa May, our Prime Minister, as you all know, she is basically committed to halving the energy use of new buildings across the UK by 2030. Which I think is a pretty good idea, because heating and powering buildings at the moment I think makes up 40% of UK energy consumption, so that's a massive kind of proportion for all the sectors. So that seems like an obvious target to go after and kind of clean up a bit. So Theresa May she's committed to it, but it's not written in stone just yet. But she said it's going to slash bills, lower demand. And it's going to reduce the amount of new infrastructure that has to be built because people's homes will be using less power. So rather, it kind of obviously one route to sustainability is by making our actual power generation greener. But this will reduce emissions by meaning that we don't actually need as much power. So it's like when people say energy efficiency is the magic bullet. I think it's quite a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, but I think we just have to wait and see if this is something that is going to be implemented in the near future. Because I know politicians make a lot of promises. I know they've delivered on some, but hopefully this is something that will go forward, because the industry has been calling for energy efficiency changes and policy energy efficiency to be made one of the main policies. In the UK, but that hasn't happened yet. So hopefully this will drive that.
Yeah, it's quite easy to say it, but then there's also a lot of buildings being made all the time. So yeah, hopefully she will actually follow through and make sure that happens. And she also said the UK needs to lead efforts for zero emission transport as well. So that's something else I hope to see.
Okay. All right. So moving on to the next one about greening cricket in India. I thought this was a fitting story because World Environment Day is coming up on the 5th of June, which is next Tuesday, and India is hosting the day this year. So what they've done is an agreement has been signed between the Board of Control for Cricket in India and the UN Environment. So they have joined forces and they want to engage fans and players in sustainable initiatives and also spread awareness about using greener alternatives to resources. So cricket, as you might know, is one of the most widely played and watched sport in the country. So hopefully this initiative will have an impact and encourage the fans to do something about the environment. Eventually, what they also want to do is phase out the use of single-use plastics across stadiums and events, so cricket events in the country.
Are they going to do that with football and rugby, do you think? That'd be quite a good idea.
Yeah, it would be a good idea here. But I mean, because obviously this is in India itself, and India, like I said, cricket is a big sport, so they're focusing on India. I mean, focusing on the sport cricket.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, rugby and football could be something that could be implemented elsewhere as well.
Sustainable sports everywhere.
Yeah. So as part of this World Environment Day, thousands of people took part in what is dubbed to be the world's largest beach cleanup. And it was the Versova beach in Mumbai. And it seems like the initiative is going forward, is taking off, and hopefully big changes will be seen.
Yeah, it's very sporting of them all to take part. And the next story is about Ribena. I haven't had a Ribena in quite a long time. Don't know about you.
No, I don't remember the last time I had one. Probably a few years ago.
Yeah, but so there's this Ribena aren't directly involved in this initiative. But a new university study, researchers at a university have developed a new product which is made out of blackcurrant waste. And actually Ribena use 90% of the UK's blackcurrants, which is quite a shocking statistic in itself, I thought. So most of the waste they will be using will come from Ribena, and they're going to use that waste to actually create sustainable hair dye.
Right.
So I don't use hair dye, but
no,
I haven't really
I mean, I do, but I wouldn't think of all the products that's out there. I wouldn't think about hair dye and unsustainable, it being unsustainable. That wouldn't really click for me. I mean, until I actually read the story. So I think a lot of people who use hair dye that wouldn't strike them.
Yeah. So I'm obviously I'm not a hair dye expert, but so
Are you sure?
I don't know exactly what chemicals go into them. But 95% apparently of all of the chemicals in there, some obviously aren't very harmful for the environment, depending on the brand. Some are more harmful, but 95% of all of them end up, going down the drains and soaking into the ground. So the fact that we have a hair dye coming that's made out of blackcurrants is actually pretty good, because obviously they just berries basically.
So you're saying this hair dye that goes into drains out, goes in the ground, is not good for the environment? Is that what they've said?
Well, I think it's more that they're factory-made chemicals and they're unsure on the effect it has on the environment. Right. So I think it's quite unlikely that they're doing anything good. Yeah. But I don't want to, kind of paint them all with the same brush. Yeah. But yeah, so the blackcurrants, the waste, obviously they get juiced or whatever in the Ribena factory, and the skins are just all left behind, and at the moment I'm not sure what happens to them, but nothing particularly useful. But the anthocyanins, they're called, the pigment in blackcurrant skins, right. And they basically go into this mix that is used to dye your hair. So at the moment, you can only dye your hair red, purple or blue, so you might not be switching to
maybe,
that.
I mean, red is something possibly, but probably a bit too much.
Yeah.
What if I came to work
purple.
with purple hair tomorrow and...
Yeah, you had to go and interview a minister. I don't think Suma would be that happy. But the people behind it are commercialising it this year, and they say... hopefully they're going to be able to mix it with natural yellow colourings, and that would give you shades of brown. So maybe you would use it after all.
I would use it, yeah. Eventually.
Yeah.
Right, so that's it for Stories of the Week. We'll move on to the second segment, Viewpoint. So this is a story I thought was very interesting. I mean, it is up for debate. So if you've got any comments, please feel free to share them with us using the hashtag #ShortFuse and @EnergyLiveNews. So this research suggests that guys trying to be masculine could be damaging the planet. I mean, I don't know how many of us or them agree or disagree. What they said is they found a psychological link between being eco-friendly and perceptions of femininity. More than 2,000 US and Chinese participants were studied. So basically what they said was some men said that reusing a bag in store when you go to buy your groceries is unmanly.
Outrageous. I'm obviously the most masculine guy in the office.
Up for debate.
Yeah, but I am environmentally conscious, so I disagree with that on principle. But yeah, I don't think I'd be embarrassed to use a plastic bag or anything like that. I use my rucksack anyway, because I always have it on me. And I don't want to, I'm too stingy to pay 5p for plastic bags. But no, I don't think my decision's got anything to do with masculinity, really. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Another thing that the research also found is that some men said that they would donate to charity if the logo was masculine. So if it had a fox or a jaguar compared to maybe butterflies or flowers. And also that they would buy a hybrid car if the advert used masculine words. So I don't know what you think about that.
I think cars maybe. I think most men kind of, when they buy a car, the bigger the engine and the faster it goes, the more they like it. So yeah, they might appeal to more masculine kind of imagery. But I've got a Volkswagen Polo. I don't know if that's the manliest car, but it gets the job done. But I disagree with all of this because you have David Attenborough. He's triggered the recent shift towards kind of getting rid of plastic straws, bags and everything with that turtle that got one stuck up its nose. So he's triggered this latest environmental shift. You've got people like Steve Irwin, rest in peace, but he was wrestling alligators and stuff like that, very manly, but also a big proponent of looking after the world we live in. So I think men really, we're doing a better job than the ladies.
Yeah, I mean men in my life as well, family, friends, I don't think I know anyone who would actually, especially to do the plastic bags, would think that it's unmanly to reuse a plastic bag. But we have somebody, a special guest today.
Who?
called Jeff Curran, who
Get out of there, Johnny.
disagrees.
Come on, get out. Come on, we're losing Johnny. Wait, give me a microphone.
Yeah, it's
Hello,
Okay.
everybody. It's great to see you.
Apologies if that hurt
Shall I
anyone's
say,
ears.
hello, everybody. Great to see you.
I think that is better.
Right, what we're talking about?
Okay, so we've got this new study which says that some men using reusable bags, so if they were to use a bag, take a bag in store that's been used already, they class that as unmanly. What do you think?
Look, it's all a load of old rubbish. Come on, frankly. Right, do I use plastic bags? Yes, I use them for I don't bother buying bin liners. I use my old reusable shopping bags. The reason I do so is that I cannot be bothered to go and take one to the shop. And if I'm spending 10 quid, 5p is absolutely diddly squat. If you're going to want to do proper recycling plastic bags, make them 50p. Everyone will stop buying plastic bags, all right? So you want to do it properly, make it a proper penalty. That's the way to do it. Forget the feminism, the sexism or whatever around plastic bags. If you want to stop people using plastic bags, you've got to penalise them properly or you stop them being there, okay? So there's this whole thing about McDonald's, by the way. Am I going on?
I was going to say, do you see signs of a politician there? Or
no, absolutely
like going
not. No,
for it and very...
Yeah, I have answered the question. So, because I have answered the question a different way. So men and women are both the same, okay? There shouldn't be any of this rubbish is there a sexism issue? Like a sexism issue. Going back to the penalty, or you take out, so for instance, McDonald's stopping using plastic straws stops the whole problem straight away, okay? Not difficult.
Yeah, that's something that's going to be implemented with the plastic straws and cotton buds, that kind of thing. The next point is that would you donate to charity if it had a masculine logo or so something like a fox rather than butterflies and flowers?
Okay, well, there's two questions there. So, do I donate to charity?
Because
not that much. Don't really that care. I know you probably don't want to hear that.
You pay your taxes, Jeff.
I pay my taxes.
Yeah.
That should do it. However, when it comes down to, a pretty thing against a manly thing, sadly, I think I probably would pick the wolf. Though then someone asked if it's a pink wolf and then it's a blue butterfly, which one would you pick? Though somebody being metrosexual went, have a pink wolf. Do you know what? Yes, there is a possibility that could sway certain people. I think there is no doubt. But whether that would actually make you just give to charity, that I'm not sure about. Okay?
Okay, and the next one is about buying hybrid cars if the adverts use masculine words.
Do you know what?
more
There is
inclined?
probably some advertising expert out there that will tell you that the way that we use linguistics and therefore the way that we're programmed within neuro-linguistic programming or NLP.
Jeff, I'm asking for your opinion, not going off about
No.
what other linguistic people think.
Come on, I'm trying to prove how clever I am. Really clever, don't you know that? My thought, no, I wouldn't be swayed by that. Would men be swayed by masculine language? What is masculine language? Give me an example of some masculine language.
What would a masculine, a
don't
word?
I know. It's a hard drive. I don't
Yeah.
know. Is that going to count
Could
as
be, yeah.
I think that's right. We're back into the
Would
Me
be,
Too bit
yeah.
here, aren't we? So I think we've got to be careful.
Yeah, don't.
Do you want
Jeff,
Johnny
you
back
gotta
now?
be
You
careful.
gave me-
I think I need
Do you
Johnny
want
back.
Johnny
Thank
back
you
now?
very much.
Oh, I don't want to go.
Jeff
I
needs
want
to
stay.
leave now.
Let me be the star.
Jeff needs to leave. Apologies to anyone who, if anyone's ears.
Yeah, don't
got
worry, that'll
buzzed.
never happen again. He won't be
This
back.
will be the last time Jeff is here on this seat. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But please do let us know what you think. Leave us a comment, as I mentioned, and follow us on Energy Live News to keep up to date with what's happening in the world of energy. So moving on from stories to big events coming up. So next week is our first big event of this year. It's Energy Live Future. It's on the 7th of June, which is next Thursday. And it's at the Crystal in London. It's for large energy end users. So we've actually we have had a few cancellations in the last few days. So we've got a few spare tickets left. So if you are a large energy end user and you'd like to come along, do email us, get in touch. You can send it to jeff.curran.
It's a special call. It's from Sumit. You're both sacked for putting me on.
Right, so this is Sumit. Am I meant to take this call?
Loudspeaker.
For a different opinion, for viewpoint. Sumit, I'm live.
He pays our salary. We can't argue with him. We have to do what he says.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Right, so Energy Live Future, if you are a large energy end user, like I said, and you want to come along, you can send an email to jeff.curran@energylivenews.com. So just to give you an idea of what we have on during the day. So lots of content. Headline session is by Mars One founder Bas Lansdorp. We'll have a short clip for you, a message from him.
Hello, I'm Bas Lansdorp. I'm CEO and co-founder of Mars One. I'll be speaking at Energy Live Future in June in London, and I hope you will be there. I'll be speaking about Mars, about why we should go there, how we will go there, about how we will get energy on Mars. It's going to be an exciting event. Join us.
So yes, Bas Lansdorp will be headlining the show. We've also got a session from Gab Barrow. He's from British Gas Business, Managing Director. He'll be talking about the future of energy and businesses, how businesses are investing in energy for to make more money, essentially, and how they can prepare for a future where the price of energy is no longer king. Also, we'll be showcasing low carbon vehicles and charging infrastructure as part of the EV highway. We've got a session, we've got a bit of space for that. And we'll also have a session on how businesses can make that transition towards using low carbon vehicles in their fleet. Another session also on how major energy end users can improve energy efficiency and their operational performance. And obviously we'll have a networking session and a lot of drinks at the end. So hopefully you can come along and we'll see you there next week.
Yeah, it's a really good event. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. I'm hoping to drive an electric car around the venue, but probably not. So we've got also Telca coming up. That's a massive event. So congratulations to everyone, all the companies and individuals that we've shortlisted for our awards. We're very excited. It's still a month away. So if you're excited too, then please get in touch with us for tickets. Sorry, you probably will have to speak to Jeff again to do that, but do it over email or something. It's easier. And we've actually conducted video interviews with lots of the people and companies on our shortlist. Some in the office, some outside. But you're going to be able to see those videos going up on our website from the 11th of June. So you can get a taste of, why people are so interested in the event and think our awards are so good. And yeah, we've also got Energy Live Expo. So you've got to come to that. That's on the 31st of October. And it's great because Energy Minister Claire Perry is actually headlining. As I'm sure many of you know, she's an amazing speaker, so we're all looking forward here to hearing about what she has to say. So yeah, again, get in touch with us about that if you want to come along, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah, also if you have any questions for the Minister, you can send it over to stories@energylivenews.com and we'll make sure hopefully we can put some of those stories up to her. Some of the questions up.
Yeah.
Right, so moving on to the final segment. It is a short clip basically about a wind turbine that caught fire during the storms this week.
A wind farm, and one of the turbines caught fire. So this actually is in Ranson Wind Farm, so I couldn't read my own handwriting there and had a slip of the brain.
He's got very bad handwriting.
Yeah, so it's in Cambridgeshire, Ranson Wind Farm. There's 5 wind turbines there. And on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, there was heavy rain, thunder, lightning.
Yeah.
So although the fire brigade turned up at 7:30 in the morning after receiving calls because one of the turbines was on fire, they couldn't actually figure out what caused the fire yet, so they're still investigating. But the 2 most popular theories seem to be that lightning hit one of the turbines, because obviously they're great conductors. They're just metal poles in the middle of the countryside ready to get hit by lightning. Or the wind blew the turbines too fast and the motor kind of burned out and set a fire. But neither of those have been confirmed yet.
Yeah.
So you stay tuned. We can update the story when we find out.
But the good news is that no one was hurt, right?
No one was hurt. There was lots of debris falling off the wind farm into the field next door. But I think the fire brigade stayed there, let the fire burn itself out because they couldn't safely deal with it. So yeah, no one was hurt, which is the good thing.
Yeah. Okay, so just before we end this session, as I mentioned earlier, it's World Environment Day next week on the 5th of June, and everyone's being urged to play a little part, do what they can do. And I thought this image was very fitting because I've been hearing lots of conversations in the office about the new Star Wars movie. To be honest, I can't differentiate between Star Wars and Star Trek, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, the
for those of
journalism
you who
side
are.
of this,
Yes.
we're not too clued up on Star Wars.
But I thought this image was very fitting, and hopefully I'm sure we might just see Sumit and Jeff swapping their lightsabers for very energy efficient ones soon.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us this week. Sumit will be back again next week to host the session. Back at
not.
Friday next week, Friday at 4. So hopefully you can join us again. But in the meantime, have a very good weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.